Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Slocum here. I wanted to talk you through what school will be like next week when you return, so have a watch of this video and hopefully it will answer your questions. First of all, and most importantly, welcome back. We really have missed you, and I know everyone is really looking forward to seeing you all again next week. We hope you've missed us too. Your grown-up has received a letter from me telling them what day you start. So on that day, you need to come down to the big car park beside the community centre in front of the gates in the picture here by the Key Stage 1 playground. There won't be any cars in the car park, so you can wait with your grown-up carefully until I open the gates. Don't worry, you're all coming at different times depending on what year group you're in, so you should be the only people in that car park along with other people from your year. Then I'll open the gates, so you and your grown-up need to walk inside and follow the orange markings which are on the ground round to the left into the netball courts. On the netball courts are 6 picnic benches evenly spaced out, and behind them will be one of the teachers from the different bubbles in your year group. You need to walk along the orange path until you find the grown-up who is leading your bubble. Their name is on the letter that was sent out to your grown-up earlier on this week. Once you find them, you and your grown-up need to step out of the orange pathway and stand opposite your bubble leader behind the picnic bench. You then need to step round to the side of the picnic bench where your bubble leader or your teacher will take your temperature to check that you're feeling okay. If you're okay, you then go and stand behind your teacher, and your mum or dad or whoever's brought you to school needs to then say goodbye and follow the orange pathway. These pictures here show you what happens to your grown-up once they've said goodbye to you at the picnic bench with your teacher. Your grown-up then has to follow the orange pathway down to the left-hand side of the picnic benches, round the corner at the bottom and back up the other side, keeping the green fences on their right. They'll have another little loop at the top and then they'll go out of the gates on the side of the playground. Your teacher will wait on the playground for about 10 minutes to get everyone in, and then they will take you back to your classroom. We've made it really easy for each class to get to their bubble or their classroom, and everyone has their own door. The door that you go in and out of the school building has your bubble label on it, so you know which door you're going in and out of. But your teacher will tell you and show you where that is. The classroom that you and your bubble are in may be different to the classroom you were in before the school closed, so your grown up will show you where your classroom is. It's going to look a little bit different because we're trying to keep everybody safe. That's why we're in smaller groups or bubbles rather than classes. We need to try to remember to keep 2 metres apart from each other. That's easier said than done, which is why we're in these smaller groups. So your teacher will help you to learn what 2 metres looks like. So when you're outside or in your classroom, you'll be able to stay away from your friends but still talk to them and play with them. So if you're in F1 or nursery, you'll be in one of 4 bubbles. So you'll either be with Mrs. Green, Mrs. Walker, Miss Mage or Miss Quelch. You can see the classrooms here and they look very similar to how nursery used to look, but we've made some slight changes. There are chairs for you to sit on, so you'll be sitting on them at different points during the day, and there'll still be lots of toys for you to play with. Some of the toys we've had to put away because we can't keep them clean at the moment, which is really important, but there'll still be lots of fun things to do. Have a look with your grown-up at which classroom you're going to be going to. If you're in reception or F2, you'll be in one of 4 bubbles with Mrs. Edwards, Mrs. Tran, Mrs. Godds or Miss Beaumont. You'll sit at a desk and there'll be things in the tray for you to do. Your hat and coat and water bottle, maybe your lunchbox if you're bringing one with you, will go under your desk or on your desk, so it will be with you all throughout the day. You'll sit there for learning and there'll be times for you to go outside. Have a look and see which classroom you're going to be going to. Year 1 has 6 bubbles, led by Miss Riddell, Miss Howarth, Mr. Bird, Mr. Hollingsworth, Miss Bell and Miss Dixon, and here's a picture of their bubbles. Like in reception or F2, you'll be sat at a desk with a tray with some activities for you to do, as well as resources to help you with your learning. And your coat, hat, water bottle, and lunchbox, if you're bringing one, will either go on your desk or underneath your desk with you. There'll also be times for you to go outside, so you won't be sat here all day. If you're in year six, you'll be working in the hall. So on the day that you come in, you'll go into the hall and collect your tray from one of the benches around the room. Your teacher will show you which bench belongs to your bubble. You'll then place the tray on your desk along with your coat, your water bottle, your lunchbox, and a book and your small bag of pencils and pens so that you can use them throughout the day. You'll then be able to go outside again like everyone else at different points throughout the day. Mrs. Salter has a few children working with her, and here's a picture of what their classroom looks like. So now you know what your classroom looks like. What will you be doing when you're at school? Well, you'll be doing some phonics or reading if you're in year six. You'll also get a chance to do some writing and some English work. There'll be time for you to do maths based around the White Rose maths you should have been doing at home. And there'll be lots of opportunities for you to go outside and run around, particularly as you're sat at desks a lot of the time. We're going to make sure there's lots and lots of opportunities for you to talk to each other, especially about how you've been feeling over the last 12 weeks. So don't worry, you won't have to work all the time that you're in. If you're in nursery, you'll get lots of time to talk, but also lots of time to play as well. As I've said, there'll be lots of opportunities for you to go outside. To make it safe for everyone, we've put pink lines around the playground, and you'll follow those lines with your grown ups so that you are able to go to the correct playground without bumping into other people who are outside at a similar time. Each playground has a number on it, like the picture on the right hand side saying the number 2, so your grown up that you're with knows where to take you. You might be feeling a little bit nervous about coming in as you haven't been in for such a long time. So I spoke to some of the children in the key worker bubble who've been in school for the whole time that you've been off and asked them about how they felt originally about coming to school. Evie said that it's just the same as normal with maths and English. What's different is that you have a different teacher. So some of you may not know the grown up that you're going to be working with, but they're excited to meet you. Isabel says it's fun and we're just in a different classroom, which you may have noticed you're going to be. Isaac says that he likes the different activities and he likes having different teachers. And Hannah said she was a bit worried before she started, but there was really nothing to worry about. On the first few days when you come into school, your grown up or the leader of your bubble will show you where the toilets are that you can go to wash your hands or to go to the bathroom. There's also a sign on the door so you know which toilet is for your bubble. I'm sure you remember this from before school closed, but it's really important that we wash our hands lots at the moment. So there are posters up around the school to help you remember how to do it. You need to wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, which is about the time it takes to sing happy birthday twice. The diagram on the left shows you how to do it properly. If you have a cough or a sneeze, you need to use a tissue, and if you don't have a tissue, you should cough or sneeze into the corner of your elbow. Again, once you've done that, you need to wash your hands carefully with soap and water. If you're coughing a lot, you must tell a grown up straight away. Sometimes at school, children fall over and they need to have a plaster put on their cut. If that happens to you over the next few weeks, the grown ups are going to have to put on some special clothing to make sure that they stay safe to treat your cut. So they'll be wearing an apron, some gloves, and a mask. Here's a picture of Mrs. Giles without the mask and with the mask, so you can see she's still the same smiling, happy person that she was before, it's just that the mask covers that smile. If you're feeling poorly, especially if you have a temperature or you suddenly get a cough, a grown up will have to put a visor on top of that. So again, we'll look a bit strange, but you'll know it's us underneath. At the end of the day, or the end of the session if you're in nursery, your teacher will take you back to the picnic bench that you met them in the morning. Your grown up will come back in through the gates, follow the orange pathway round, and when you see them, you can let your teacher know. Your teacher will hand you over to your grown up, and then you'll follow that orange pathway back out of the gates. I hope that's explained things and answered a few questions for you. We're really looking forward to seeing you soon. So have a lovely weekend and we'll see you next week.